Thanks very much. Appreciate that. And it's very great to be here at the University of Chicago and to be able to thank the University of Chicago Press and Alan Thomas especially for his work on my 3 books with the University of Chicago, My Way, Speeches and Poems, and With Strings, and now Girly Man. It's been just a great experience for me. And I've been very lucky to be able to work with you and all the people at the press. Let me just start with, as a kind of epigraph, a translation of a poem by the Brazilian modernist poet Carlos Drummond de Andrade called In the Middle of the Way. In the middle of the way was a stone, in the middle of the way was a stone. In the middle of the way was a stone. Never, I'll never forget that happened in the life of my oh so wearied retinas. That in the middle of the way was a stone, in the middle of the way, in the middle of the way was a stone. First poem in Girly Man is called In Particular, and it has 2 epigraphs, one from my son Felix. Maybe when he was 10 years old, we were in Riverside Park looking up the Hudson at the George Washington Bridge, and he said, I admit that beauty inhales me, but not that I inhale beauty. And the other epigraph, also from the neighborhood, is something that the genie in the candy store always speaks about, his lack of nothingness. A black man waiting at a bus stop, a white woman sitting on a stool, a Filipino eating a potato, a Mexican boy putting on shoes, a Hindu hiding in igloo, a fat girl in blue blouse, a Christian lady with toupee, a Chinese mother walking across a bridge, an Afghanistani eating pastrami, a Provençal walking on the peninsula, a Eurasian boy on a cell phone, an Arab with umbrella, a Southerner taking off a backpack, an Italian detonating a landmine, a barbarian with beret, a Lebanese guy in a limousine, a Jew watering petunias, a Yugoslavian man at a hanging, a Sunni boy on scooter, a Floridian climbing a fountain, a beatnik writing a limerick, a Caucasian woman dreaming of indecision, a Puerto Rican child floating on a balloon, an Indian fellow gliding on 3-wheeled bike, an Armenian rowing to Armenia, an Irish lad with scythe, a Bangladeshi muttering questions, a worker waiting in puddles, a Japanese rollerblader fixing a blend, a Burmese tailor watching his trailer, an Idaho man getting a tan, a Quinnipiac girl with a bluesy growl, an Arapaho whaler skimming failure, an anorexic man with a remarkably deep tan, an adolescent Muslim writing Terza Rima, a Scots pipe fitter at the automat, a gay guy in tweed suit, a red man with green ball, a dyslexic sailor with an inconsolable grin, a Northumbrian flyer heading for Tipperary, a Buddhist financier falling on the ground, a curious old boy jumping into threshing machine, an Hispanic sergeant on lookout for cream-colored coat, an addicted haberdasher eating soap, a Peruvian child chewing gum, a Sephardic infant on shuffleboard deck, a Mongolian imitating Napoleon, an anarchist lad with skewed glance, a Latvian miner breakdancing with the coroner, a poor girl eating apple pie and cream soda, a Sudanese fellow with a yellow stroller, an atheist with a flair for pins, a Bahamian on the way to inordinate machination, a stuttering Iranian in blue and gold fog, a telltale somnambulist rehearsing gypsy, homosexual child in a taxi, a Wiccan matron swimming in glue, a Moravian procrastinator practicing jiu-jitsu, a Syrian swami on Lake Origami, a flirtatious gentleman spinning wool, a colored youngster admiring a toaster, a Danish designer in a diner, a Montenegrin taking Excedrin, a DC dervish dribbling dodecahedrons, a Denver doyen davening defiantly, a Bali busboy getting high, an Iraqi contemplating Harry Kari, an Ojibwe pushing a button on the Trans-Siberian, a harried officer somersaulting on banister, a moldy wig directing catfish, an agoraphobic professor on cruise control, a feminist in a rocking chair, a Burmese cook in bobby socks, a teenager infiltrating an air mattress, a pro-choice guy reciting rhymes, a dog-faced Finn in shining car, a Czech man in a Czech suit, a Pentecostal lawyer jogging in his foyer, a communist wearing a sad apron, a Canadian woman with a nose ring, a ghoulish girl dating a dentist, an idiot in a closet, a Moorish magician in her kitchen, a sorrowful soldier with morose clothier, a dilettantish senior washing strictures, a socialite on routine imbroglio, a bicyclist hoarding hornets, a toddler pocketing the till, a hooded boy eating cheddar cheese, a balding brown-noser in tutu, a Bruno chasing choo-choo train, an Argentine dancing on a dime, a bespectacled dowager installing lap link, an Australopithecine toddler grimacing in basement, a Nicaraguan peewee with preposterous pipe, a kike out cold on ice, a Hoosier off the booze, a swollen man with impecunious grin, a Burmese fellow with a face of terror, a lost pole in the forest, a dilapidated soul drinking rum, a pistolero with folded heart, a shockwave mama hunkering down on puck, a vela-bound baby two-facing the cha-cha, a post-colonial fiduciary eating a plum, a maladroit Swede coughing bullets, a hexed Haitian in involuntary vacation, a Persian oncologist in metrical parking, a Peruvian French hornist sipping Pernod, a Terre Haute charmer with infinite capacity to harm her, a Mongolian chiropodist at a potluck, a Sao Paulo poet reflecting on deflection, a white man sitting on a stool, a black woman waiting at a bus stop. The next poem I'm going to read is called Thank You for Saying Thank You. In the Upper West Side, where I'm from, the deep Upper West Side, we call it the ethnic Upper West Side, or refer to it as the deep Upper West Side. We are very polite. This is not so well known. And we thank each other for saying thank you. And because we thank each other for saying thank you, we can often go for much of the night before we're able to stop. And so I wrote this poem with a recognition of that. This is a totally accessible poem. There is nothing in this poem that is in any way difficult to understand. All the words are simple and to the point. There are no new concepts, no theories, no ideas to confuse you. This poem has no intellectual pretensions. It is purely emotional. It fully expresses the feelings of the author, my feelings. The person speaking to you now. It is all about communication, heart to heart. This poem appreciates and values you as a listener. It celebrates the triumph of the human imagination amidst pitfalls and calamities. This poem has 90 lines, 269 words, and more syllables than I have time to count. Each line, word, and syllable have been chosen to convey only the intended meaning and nothing more. This poem abjures obscurity and enigma. There is nothing hidden. 100 readers would each read the poem in an identical manner and derive the same message from it. This poem, like all good poems, tells a story in a direct style that never leaves the reader guessing, while at times expressing bitterness, anger, resentment, xenophobia, and hints of racism. Its ultimate mood is affirmative. It finds joy even in those spiteful moments of life that it shares with you. This poem represents the hope for a poetry that doesn't turn its back on the audience, that doesn't think it's better than the reader, that is committed to poetry as a popular form, like kite flying and fly fishing. This poem belongs to no school, has no dogma, it follows no fashion. It says just what it says. It's real. I'm going to read a few of the poems from World on Fire, one of the sections of the book. And this one is called In a Restless World Like This Is. Not long ago, or maybe I dreamt it, or made it up, or have suddenly lost track of its train in the hocus pocus of the dissolving days. No, if I bend the turn around the corner, come at it from all three sides at once, or bounce the ball against all manner of bleary-eyed fortune-tellers, well, you can see for yourselves there's nothing up my sleeves, or notice even rocks occasionally break if enough pressure is applied. As far as you go in one direction, all the further you'll have to go on before the way back has become totally indivisible. Ghost of a chance. The silent ending came as fast as the cold click of a Beretta. In those years, before the war, it was the custom. An entry point could always be found, a ways down the road, hidden by the side of a steel-gray tool shed or in warehouses near the waterfront. The days went like that. And if the money was in the wrong horse race, at least it would be kept quiet for a while. The perfume smell was all but unendurable when the door opened and the room flooded with neon and ice-cold air. Behind the camera, the men joked about the almost bitter coffee. Choo-choo chaboogie. You got a girl now, Dave? Spills out to summer's plain completion. The auguries of trounced and trudged, a minute away from destabilization, dangerously low resources, time to shut down. But not the radio, not the radiator, not the true love plug-in, not the defector detector, when in a race with cartoons and French fries, spackle before auto-eject. Hold tight. The ring around the posing is closed for retrofitting. Refurbishment is just around the hospital corner. If bald, bring hat. If not, ignore this sentence, but be sure to complete the rest of the lines in the poem before going on to part 4. Rubber replacements are available on the 3rd consecutive level. Gel before warp speed. Overcome fear of cloning by using patent leather shoes. Don't sail boat without buckets of water. And in the shank of the evening, gather all available stems, but refute closure. Stranger in Paradise. Call them clam diggers if you like, but I'd say her pants shrunk or she just got real tall all of a sudden. The bus came late, left early, when all our cares were theirs, lingering by the gate of another fly swat, possum fry, lateral dodge. My balloon is stuck, and I need someone to get it down. As if the trees torched the sky, and the boiler ran on lost facts. Depend upon it, lest it depend on you, whom the sun has never touched, nor the mist betrayed, turning tales into tokens the moment the fire hydrant slides in safe at left field, drunk with promiselessness, fat on tears. Capri, isn't that when whimsy gets lucky? Broken English. What are you fighting for? The men move decisively toward the execution chamber. Joey takes aim but muffles his fire. Overhead, the crescent moon cracks the unbroken sky. A moth beats its wings against the closed door. Intransigence its only lure. What are you fighting for? The sirens cry wolf to the obedient masses who sway, hysterical, in sync to the boys on the back streets and the ladies of mourning, brushing up fate pixel by pixel, burnishing dusk, the sum of entropy and elevation. Tony takes it in his intestine, the sharp pain in his body like ripples in a sand dune, his face exquisitely detached from any sign of the sensation. What are you fighting for? The market plunges, savings slip away like a greased pig in a taffy pull. Sometimes the easiest thing is just to stop thinking about it. Then it can just think you, depending on the angle of the incline and the rate of decomposition, wives to each other, husbanding the fear that feeds upon itself and its prey. Doesn't that count for something, even in these pitched accommodations? What are you fighting for? What are you fighting for? Lost in drowned bliss. Things are what they are, but we are never what we are, she said, as she wrapped the sandwich in plastic and tucked away the tears in a flute. No, it's things. They hourly change before our eyes while we stay stuck in who we are and where we have been. Things are solid. We stumble, unglue, recombine. Or what we see is no more a part of us than the baby who beckons from the forest. We splinter in the void to catch the light, then hail the sparks as paradise. Sunset at Quaquaversal Point. Intends by onset to skip over busted rhymes, like a snail coats its belly with preconscious worm envy on a plate engaging its met mat, the gnat her pinky ring. One sting more, and the wave goes on paraverbal auto-deterrent, chin by the tension fan, or 2 for $5.50. Lend me a lip retractor. Gosh, I'm going to have to get you later. For now, hold that thoughtlessness one more beat. At the end of the day, the pegs left standing form an arc around the moat till the rooster comes home with the mocking birds. Then fill the balloons with ludic runes, and I will take her with mine left and lose her with mine right. Focus then bend the bear to the north wind with sullen, courteous elan. Surcease with a sneeze and a pleat and a pike, spat and spore, then no more. It's over, and then it's not. As long as you never, well, sometimes endeavor, as long as you never, as long as ever, say never nor ever, again, again. And the last in this sequence from A Flame in Your Heart is from World on Fire. It's called A Flame in Your Heart. As slow as Methuselah and as old as molasses, time passes, but nobody ever does anything about it. The soda water at the club on Tuesday, so much more fishy than it used to be. And the giant marmoset in the bedroom wants more cookies and milk before fading into memory's skipped disc. Once you came to me in a shadow, and I don't know how to count the years since counting is just the thing I am learning not to do. Your bracelet adorns your wrist like a knight in ardor, crying for a key to the tumble-down cabin on the dunes. A bonnet repairs what the billy goat embargoes, ocean of this close and then again, until all the folds are rounded into the bend. And we meet like actors in a made-for-TV miniseries at the end of a pier, on a blind alley, or on a steamship, or in a crowded piazza in an unidentifiable Italian city that turns out to be Bayonne. You're there in the final scene, and so am I, but we don't recognize each other because we've gone beyond all that. Then the signal blasts with unendurable music, and we collapse into the sound, into ourselves as make-believe as any devout hug-a-mug with a hankering for infinite finitude. Just a walk down the street of the imaginary enclosure that becomes real when shared. This next poem is called Language, Truth, and Logic, and it's based on two well-known philosophical propositions that I came upon when I was in college. The first relates to the central argument in A.J. Ayer's Language, Truth, and Logic from 1936. This is quoting from Mr. Ayer. The presence of an ethical symbol in a proposition adds nothing to its factual content. Thus, if I say to someone, "You acted wrongly in stealing that money," I am not stating anything more than if I had simply said, "You stole that money." I love that quote. It's really one of my favorites. The first section also relates to David Ross's discussion, you ought to keep your promise, and then the second part, as you'll see, responds to J.L. Austin's famous distinction between accident and mistake. So it's in two parts, language, truth, and logic. One, why did you steal that money? You know you acted wrongly in stealing. Stealing money is wrong. You shouldn't do it, shouldn't have done it. Not what you did. And you promised you wouldn't. You ought to keep your promises, really should keep your promises. When you say you will, when you promise. Promise? You know, I took what you said as a promise. I mean, you promised, didn't you? They say I excuse you. Excuse me? I can't excuse you for acting wrongly. Stealing money is wrong. You acted wrongly in stealing the money. I took what you said to be a promise. You promised. You ought to keep your promises. Promise? Why did you steal that money? And the second, you're mistaken. I shot the horse accidentally. There was no mistake. It was no accident. I mean, I shot the horse by mistake. It was an accident that I shot the horse by mistake. I did not mean to shoot the horse. Mean it or not, your mistake is no accident. It was the wrong horse that I shot. I was mistaken. I accidentally made a mistake. The only mistake you made is no accident. You're mistaken. Make no mistake about it. The horse was shot by accident. I held the gun, but I was not aiming for the horse. So you're saying it was an accident, that you shot the horse by mistake? I admit to my mistake. It was an accident. This poem is called The Warble of the Ammonia-Bellied Barkeep. Whoever falls and falling finds, and finding falls? Or is it just dim remainders of insolvent merriment, strays? The lair ensnares the wary, begs the premise, behind the mayor, an empoodled monocle of my grandma's viaduct. A biscuit stands for a torch, all that is lit, all that is broke. Bounce with me on this one once, won't you? On this tin floor, who swore, who never swore, flush with facts, worth no more than 12 for a dozen gnats, swanky peas with dour means. Then go way till the month of cans becomes the millionth May, in silence or prepaid, right up until totally aggravated. Little as you dance, come quick, come sway, well met on bend, counting till end, a wheel, a nod, a seal, a cog, in drift, in parry, astray. The sled so long can scarcely glide home. The moment surrenders its garment. Not here, just hop on it. For the pail never sails, nor the pelican wail. till the corn outshines the wisp, twaddle by day, shredder for fright, in the blonde plunge of skid's feigned delight. I'll come back to Girly Man in a little while, but I thought I'd read a few other more recent pieces. This is called The Theory of Flawed Design. The theory of flawed design is not a scientifically proven alternative to evolution. It is based on the everyday life experience that natural selection could not have produced such a catastrophic outcome. Optimists and the religiously inclined will naturally prefer evolution as an explanation, since ascribing design to the state of humanity is almost unbearable. For the rest of us, we must continue to insist that the theory of flawed design be taught cheek and jowl, neck and neck, mano a mano, with Mr. Darwin's speculations. The theory of flawed design postulates a creator who is mentally impaired, either through some genetic defect or because of substance abuse, and is predisposed to behave in a sociopathic manner. Although some benign, flawed theorists, as they like to call themselves, posit the radical alternative that the creator was distracted or inattentive, and the flaws are not the result of malevolent will, but incompetence or incapacity. This is a short poem called The Honor of Virtue. What I say is what I meant, and what I saw is what I said, but neither seen nor spoke is what I think I thought. And here's the 12 tribes of Dr. Lacan. Many of them will be familiar to you here in the University of Chicago, but I think a few will not. The 12 tribes of Dr. Lacan, the first is the Lacanians. Lacanians who believe that the cane or crutch is understood as the third leg or limping, stuttering phallus. Lacanians, the third leg, limp or stuttering. Then the Lake-Hanians. The unconscious is structured like a lake. Then, and I know that this is very big in Hyde Park, the Lacanians. The Lacanians focus on the ache of lack and the desire to fill this void with ultimately unsatisfying and imaginary objects. The Lacanians. Then there's the Lacanians. The Lacanians, the can-do, pragmatic strain, the Lacanians. And then, of course, the Lacantians, a form of negative dialectics. Now, this is one that actually is very big in Notre Dame campus where I have been this week, and it's surprising, not that well known in other places, the Lacantians. The Lacantians is by far the most radical followers of Lacan, who believe the unconscious is structured like the female genital organ. The Lacantians. Then there is the Lacanians, which is a cross between the ideas of Lacan and Levi-Strauss, which stresses the importance of interrelations and kinship patterns. Then the Low-Kanians, who situate themselves in opposition to the High-Kanians. Low-Kanians. And then the Laconians, who believe the unconscious is structured like a cone. Then the Lacantians, a philosophical branch that connects the thinking of Lacan to that of Immanuel Kant, or Kant, Kantians. And then finally, Laciltians, who believe the unconscious is structured like a kilt. Rabbi Eliza would always say, which comes first, the egg or the idea, as a way to stop a conversation she felt was coming too soon to a conclusion. One very hot afternoon, Rabbi Omar asked Rabbi Eliza to trace the origins of her favorite maxim. In a roundabout way, Rabbi Eliza began, looking up from the passage she was studying. It's related to Rabbi Yukel's so-called rule of the index finger. Don't put all your chickens in one egg, which itself is a variant of the saying attributed to Rabbi Raj, and which we chant on the first half moon of winter. One egg is not the world. On hearing this, Rabbi Omar loudly protested, noting that several centuries before Rabbi Raj, Rabbi Not Enough Sand in the Desert, Not Enough Water in the Sea, had insisted that the central question to ponder on nights without visible rainbows is, which comes first, the basket or the idea of the basket? Exactly, Rabbi Eliza said with a triumphant laugh. Without baskets or eggs, we would only have words, and without words, only mouths. This poem is called Sad Boy's Sad Boy. It's based on Sylvia Plath's poem, Mad Girl's Love Song. I ruin my hat, and all the mat slides glad. I hop my girls, and all is skip again. I jump, I run you up inside my truck. The car goes looping out in dark and light, and yellow hat slides in. I run my mats, and all the girl slides glad. I hope you skip me into luck, and jump me black, ruin me glad. I jump, I run you up inside my truck. I jump my slopes, and all the dope slide glad. I glide my luck, and all is slip again. I jump my hopes, and all the rope glides sad. I skip you jump the way you said, but I run old and sigh your name. I ruin my mats, and all the girl slides glad. At least when luck hops, it skips back again. I ruin my mats, and all the girls slide glad. I jump, I run you up inside my truck. This poem is very appropriate for this time of year for those who are students here at the University of Chicago, the end of the semester. It's called Evaluation. This was the most torturous course I have ever taken. Its newness, rather than allowing more freedom and interest, caused greater problems. The class ruined the second semester of my freshman year. The lectures and readings were pointless. It was a major challenge just to stay awake. I learned absolutely nothing. The class was as boring as sitting in a white cell staring at a clock. The professor really knows his stuff, but going to class is like getting a lobotomy. The fact that he is a native English speaker is his only strong point as a professor. Having a TA for whom English is a first language helped a lot. Someone shoot me in the head. I highly recommend majors sign up for this, but the course is not for the weak-hearted. Teacher cannot communicate with students and doesn't make any effort to do so. Easily the worst professor at this university. He acts like he's 8 years old and teaches us as if we were in kindergarten. He's more concerned with his own thought process and whether the students are following. His first response to almost all questions is to tell us we are stupid. He gets frustrated when asked questions about things he thinks we should know and answers in riddles. And he responds to legitimate questions as if they were direct attacks. In other words, the professor is condescending and rude. Worse, he tends to make concepts even more confusing than they seem to be in the poorly written text he assigned. Plus, with his inch-long fingernails, he looks like an ivory tower crack addict. He should never be allowed in the classroom again. This poem is called Eleni Passion Redo, and it's a kind of a revised version of a libretto Eleni Passion show that I wrote with Ben. What's the matter with you? What's the matter with you? Did you shove your face in sealing wax? You never looked so blue. Nothing better to do? Nothing better to do? Go stick your head in the microwave till there's nothing left but goo. Sometimes we all need a friend, a guy who sees us round the bend, someone who's always there to push us down the stair or out the door into the cold night air. Want to sniff some glue? I do. Do you? Then hit ourselves with a 2x4 till we know what's true. This is a translation of Apollinaire's poem, Le Pont Mirabeau. Under the Mirabeau Bridge flows the Seine, and our love comes back to memory again, where always joy came after pain. Comes night, the hours sound, days go round in which to drown, hand in hand, face to face, while underneath the bridge of our embrace, eternal gazes, weary waves. Comes night, the hours sound, days go round in which to drown. Love goes away like the water flows. Love goes away like life is slow, and like hopefulness is violent. Comes night, the hours sound, days go round in which to drown. Pass the days, pass the nights, neither time passed nor love comes back. Under the Mirabeau Bridge flows the Seine. Comes night, the hours sound, days go round in which to drown. Let's just say that every time you fall, you never hit the ground. Let's just say that when the day ends, the night refuses to come. Let's just say that if all else fails you, at least you can count on that. Let's just say that a bird in the fist is better than a bird and a foot. Let's just say that the scarlet ambrosia of your innermost longing is the nectar of a God who never chooses to visit. Let's just say that if chance accords possibility, melancholia postpones insomnia. Let's just say that sleep is the darker side of dreams. Let's just say that sometimes a rose is just a red flower. Let's just say that every step forward is also a step nowhere. Let's just say that the thirst for knowledge can only be quenched if one learns how to remain hungry. Let's just say that green is always the reflection of the idea of green. Let's just say that I encounter myself not in the mirror, but in the manure. Let's just say that each door leads to another door. Let's just say we think it before we see it, or better, we see it as we think it. Let's just say that a stone's throw might be a world away. Let's just say that love is neither here nor there. Let's just say that the girl is the mother of the woman. Let's just say that without disorder, there can be no harmony. Let's just say that the aim is not to win, but not to lose too bad. Let's just say that a knife in the back is better than a knife in the heart. Let's just say that between sleep and dreams is the reality behind reality. Let's just say that I am very weak and want to take a bath. Let's just say that the truth is somewhere between us. Let's just say that the top of a tower is not a good place to hide. Let's just say that mankind suffers its language. Let's just say that the bird cannot always be in flight. Let's just say that we're not far from where we would have been if we had lived better lives. Let's just say that pretty ugly is an aspiring oxymoron. Let's just say that if the sun is a rock burning in space, then the earth is a shard hurtling from its designation. Let's just say that little is gained when nothing is lost. Let's just say that the lie of the mind is the light of perception. Every lake has a house, and every house has a stove, and every stove has a pot, and every pot has a lid, and every lid has a handle, and every handle has a stem, and every stem has an edge, and every edge has a lining, and every lining has a margin, and every margin has a slit, and every slit has a slope, and every slope has a sum, and every sum has a factor, and every factor has a face, and every face has a thought, and every thought has a trap, and every trap has a door, and every door has a frame, and every frame has a roof, and every roof has a house, and every house has a lake. This poem is called Castor Oil. It was written for Emma. I went looking for my soul. I went looking for my soul in the song of a minor bird, in the song of a minor bird. But I could not find it there, but I could not find it there. Only the shadow of my thinking, only the shadow of my thinking. The slow sea slaps slow water. The slow sea slaps slow water on the ever farther shore, on the ever farther shore. And myself pulled under, and myself pulled under in the uneven humming, of the still wavering warps, of the still wavering warps. Tuneless I wander, sunder, tuneless I wander, sunder, in lent blends of remote display, in lent blends of remote display, until the bottom bottoms, until the bottom bottoms, in song-drenched light, cradled fold, in song-drenched light, cradled fold. Oh, hey, buddy, can you spare me a dime? I've been searching for you so long. Yeah, hey, sister, I ain't into no crime. Won't you show me the way to go home? Been a long time, been a long time. Don't you know I've missed you so? Wherever angels go, I'll take you there to glow. Oh, hey, buddy, will you spare me some time? I've been searching for you so long. There is no climb, makes no difference, no mind, wherever angels go. Oh, hey, buddy, can you spare me a dime? I've been searching for you so long. Yeah, hey, sister, I ain't into no crime. Won't you show me the way to go home? Won't you show me the way to go home? Just going to read one very short section from A Shadow Time, which was a libretto I wrote for an opera that the music was written by Brian Fernhow and for Brian Fernhow, and on the thinking of Walter Benjamin. And I'm going to just read the third section of Opus Contra Naturam, the descent of Benjamin into the underworld, called Cataplexy. 1. No one avail Abel's lull to swell, bell book cant to cant, tear and wisp of or vamp ire, aim advise, crack spine on feigned pal, limp pest still, sound all, count air facts, fail for falls in splint gel, the way the day tugs up by tads there, same as now minds bend, sigh in some odd jests, fold bets. Or sun in stuff eye taints I meant, mind fled finds age as hem selves slit gnaw silt, old quests of shade, oh, thou art told so, spore rails in cell plain as warps wrap shades in thrall. A cove, a quest, a form, a comb, a swerve, a nod, a shell, a tear, a taste, along beside as like betwixt, who teal with smoke, or was, or as time is tongues to tap a till, or thrust, nor tune, nor trill, nor spare. Pair the time with shade, or goad what fells fall. Spook such spores and ups and wens which not to know spares got to, nor sway, nor band, nor tip, nor spark, nor hold, nor keep, nor lilt, nor song, nor cleave, nor hid. Calm where there is no more to see than saw. You see is what you give where seam is torn, and such says, as. Now here, not there. Now come, now gone. Like is like, as is like, nor calm where there is no calm, as bomb where there is no bomb. Suits the tale to swerve a thought, nor lays a frown to stay. Now flash, now flail, now fail, now sway, now swing, now stray. So I'm going to read just two more poems. This one is called All the Whiskey in Heaven. Not for all the whiskey in heaven, not for all the flies in Vermont, not for all the tears in the basement, not for a million trips to Mars, not if you paid me in diamonds, not if you paid me in pearls, not if you gave me your pinky ring, not if you gave me your curls, not for all the fire in hell, not for all the blue in the sky, not for an empire of my own, not even for peace of mind. No, never. I'll never stop loving you, not till my heart beats its last. And even then, in my words and my songs, I will love you all over again. And I'm going to finish with the Ballad of the Girly Man, written just after Arnold Schwarzenegger's speech to the Republican National Convention that renominated the present president. The Ballad of the Girly Man is for Felix. The truth is hidden in a veil of tears. The scabs of the mourners grow thick with fear. A democracy once proposed is slimmed and grimed again by men with brute design who prefer hate to rhyme. Complexity's a four-letter word for those who count by nots and halves, who revile the facts of Darwin to worship the truth according to Halliburton. The truth is hidden in a veil of tears. The scabs of the mourners grow thick with fear. Thugs from hell have taken freedom's store. The rich get richer, the poor die quicker. And the only God that sanctions that is no God at all, but rhetorical crap. So be a girly man and take a girly stand. Sing a girly song and dance with a girly sarong. Thugs from hell have taken freedom's store. The rich get richer, the poor die quicker. The only God that sanctions that is no God at all, but rhetorical crap. Poetry will never win the war on terror, but neither will era, abetted by era. We girly men are not afraid of uncertainty or reason or interdependence. We think before we fight. then think some more. Proclaim our faith in listening, in art, in compromise. So be a girly man and sing this girly song, sissies and proud, that we would never lie our way to war. The girly men killed Christ, so the platinum DVD says. The Jews and the blacks and gays are still standing in the way. We're sorry we killed your God a long, long time ago, but each dead soldier in Iraq kills the God inside, the one that's still not dead. The truth is hidden in a veil of tears. The scabs of the mourners grow thick with fear. So be a girly man and sing a girly song. Take a girly sad and sing with a girly sarong. Thugs from hell have taken freedom's store. The rich get richer, the poor die quicker. And the only God that sanctions that is no God at all, but rhetorical crap. So be a girly man and sing this girly song, sissies and proud, that we would never lie our way to war. The scabs of the mourners grow thick with fear. The truth is hidden in a veil of tears. Thanks.